This will all be cut out anyway.
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
I'll edit the whole thing out and I'll just go find music because I'll be so insecure about it, obviously.
Obviously.
Oh, shit, we're recording.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, that was kind of funny. So what's up? It's been a while.
A very long while, yeah.
A very long while. We're here to record some commentary for this because I thought this piece was fucking amazing and totally worth it.
Yes, a lot of people have received it very positively, which is always a good thing. Even Vincent America went out of his way to text me and comment on the posting about how much he wanted it. So I guess
the highest praises.
Yeah, highest praises from Vincent America.
I hope he puts it right in his son's room so he can see it when he falls asleep.
Yeah, that's very horrifying.
All right, well, let's get to the real recording now.
Okay.
Okay.
Was that not the real recording?
No, actually, I have no idea. We're watching the video along with you, so all right. So what do we? So the theme of this piece, or the look of this piece, is there's a giant sun, and it's got a dryad chained up to it,
with the solar eclipse kind of. What do we want to call it? The sequences, or
like the
phases of the sun?
Phases of a solar eclipse, kind of, or like. Not quite. They're a bit like hands, but not quite.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's very interesting. Yeah. So here you can see him cheating in every possible way.
For sure.
Using both reference and performance-enhancing tools. Unlike a real artist.
Unlike one, yeah.
Remember, if you want to be a real artist, don't be like this man.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah. And we're filming this, obviously, in probably a basement.
Yes,
because of the lighting, you know.
And it's actually in the studio, which is, there is no basements because this is Texas. We don't do basements here.
Very rare to find a basement.
It's because there's no good soil for that.
That's true.
It actually, it's weird. It absorbs water and becomes like a sponge, expands really well, and that's why no one does.
Yeah. So what are you up to here?
I was drawing it and then figured out I wasn't really liking where it was going, so I needed to go on a separate sheet of paper and kind of really refigure out what I was doing, because originally I think I was going to just have normal hair and it wasn't going to be that like crazy looking, and then the outfit as well. I wanted to show the legs a bit more, and then I realized it would be cooler if it looked like a dress or something like that. Also the hair, as you can see how the hair is like going down, but then I'm like, no wait, it needs to go up and go and meld with the sun, that way it's more put together, like they're more chained together as opposed to just being chained.
More combined.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the theme of this piece?
It was abusive relationships.
Abusive relation. I know it was something also. Yeah, we were going through like kind of like toxic relationships or things like that. Like,
toxicity, things like that.
Yeah, whatever you can't seem to get rid of.
That and the idea of changing yourself to match somebody.
Yeah, changing to be like other people, like to be with someone else, kind of.
Right, and so clearly you're miserable because you had to change yourself to reflect.
Your heart is chained to this thing you no longer enjoy.
Right.
I think everyone can kind of get behind that.
Yeah. It does go back also to the reason I've been wanting to do this. Is one of my favorite stories from Ovid's Metamorphoses. It's the story of a nymph who changes herself to get the attention of the sun to look like a sunflower. But the god doesn't notice her, and then it's just, year after year waiting to be noticed. But it doesn't ever come to fruition. So it's very, the original meaning of the tale was supposed to be along the lines of, don't wait, just keep on, trucking, go through, make the opportunities that come your way sort of idea, especially in matters of romance, things like that. But for this piece, the idea was to go, a bit further in and really kind of try and get an idea of what all of that means, on the idea of changing yourself to reflect somebody else or someone else's wants and needs or desires that's for you to be. So that's kind of how we got this piece.
I like it.
For those of you also keeping score at home, we are having an counter.
That's about 1 million ums. I might put it in the video, but I'm kind of lazy. Just someone in the comments count them all.
Yeah. It's just funny because you can see any time I stop, because I'm like, oh no, I'm going to say I need to fix that.
I'm trying to get him to work on that.
Yeah.
So.
It's like, oh man, I'm about to say it. Stop yourself. So pick another word. Pick one quickly.
Oh no, lasagna.
Yeah, pretty much. It's really funny. So yeah, and then so for this part, the inking portion was.
Yeah, it's interesting you did this one kind of out of order from your normal process.
Yes, I made the point of trying to get all of the inking and penciling done at the same time. That way, if I needed to go back and fix something, I was already in the pencil phase at the same time, so that all of the work could, be easily fixed before it was too late.
That makes sense. Yeah, so normally he just does all the pencil, finishes it completely, and then starts to ink over it. So
plus, also there was a lot of random portions of it where I needed inking because there was some stuff that just didn't look. I didn't want to get confused on what needed to be penciled and inked where, so I just said, I should probably just ink it now rather than wait. And,
that way you don't forget.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or get confused later because it did take a while. This was kind of a long piece.
Yeah. Because I also decided to do this, which was grab actual paint.
Yeah.
And paint on the thing, just because I figured that I really like the ideas of having actual texture put into it, putting in. I keep saying, God damn it.
Yeah, it's funny, right? when you try not to, it's tough, right?
Yeah, it's miserable.
So it's like after I hung out with John so much, and he had been hanging out with Gabby, he said every fourth word. It was miserable. I started picking it up. It was every seventh word.
Oh, it's tragic.
Yeah.
So basically, the concept was I really like having elements of collage, or like there's multiple textures, things like that nature, or basically making it feel like it's not just a digital piece. Because like if you see digital pieces, they all look very clean, a little too homogenized, all the good stuff. So I try to really push the idea that there's a physical element to these things, so that there's real.
It's realism.
Yeah, realism in a way. I guess
it's like when you watch an old movie versus a new movie, and you can tell the effect is a physical object,
right?
Even if it looks a little odd, like with the claymation or something like that.
Yeah, but you can tell that
it's a real thing. Versus when the whole screen is just filled with CGI robots fighting CGI monsters, fighting CGI, I don't know, whatever the fuck else you want to put in your movie. It's kind of like takes you out of it like easily.
Yeah. So that's what, at least whenever I do more serious pieces, I always like to do have an era of physical matter in the piece. Well, while fan art, I could do it. It literally can be anything, and I'll be fine with it probably.
Yeah, right.
I'm much less picky when it comes to that work, and I usually take a little bit less time. And you could probably tell. I mean, most people, if they look at the piece and they really look at the physical art, like pieces like this versus like my picture of Bouchard, you'd probably be able to tell that there is a bit more work in this one.
A lot more going on.
Yeah. Also, usually
I'm a little sick.
Yeah, I also usually work bigger on original pieces than I do on fan pieces.
Yeah, this is what, 18 by 24, right?
Yeah, 18 by 24. That's scaled to be able to fit onto 11 by 17, since that's our usual print size. Which I keep thinking about that. We always do 11 by 17. We've got a lot of book ideas coming up, so I might end up working in odd sizes again, just so that they can be, I don't know, scaled better for a book.
Yeah, that makes sense, yeah. I mean, I like the 12 by 12s you've been going with recently.
Yeah, 12 by 12s are fine. It was just more along the lines of, so I have 18 by 24. I'd like to use the full 18 by 24 space.
Oh, you should do that, yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to, having this whole, wide margin that I can't use.
Yeah.
That already gets cut off. Things like that. Just because we're trying to figure out a way to make it so that it fits for 11 by 17.
Yeah. I think upping our print size would be kind of an interesting idea.
Go to 12 by 18, maybe.
I think that's what a lot of the more artsy people do.
Yeah, I think about thinking about it. Yeah, 12 by 18 sounds fine as an print size. We'll probably move to that eventually. But again, there's a lot of different ways to go about it. It doesn't really have to be a specific size. I don't know. I feel I work better when I work larger because I can focus more on smaller details, things like that. I've noticed that pieces that have that I've done 18 by 24 or larger are usually more successful in my head, at least in
very impactful sometimes.
Yeah, because I have more space to work with, and I don't feel confined or cramped, or I feel Like, case in point, I have another piece that we haven't posted yet with a fantasy character that I think turned out fine, but since it was in such a small piece, I feel like I could have gotten a bit more details in, some better, use of my tools and things like that, if I had just done a bigger piece to begin with. But I don't know what possessed me to say I'm going to work on 11 by 17 this day.
I thought it was weird when you busted that out, honestly.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know what, I think it was because the first attempt at it was 11 by 17, so I figured I'd go back at it 11 by 17.
That's true.
So, again, a lot of weird decisions when it comes to making pictures like these. But yeah, I find that 18 by 24 is my go-to size nowadays for pretty much anything, which only sucks a little bit because that's expensive compared to the
Definitely.
compared to the usual stuff I work in.
But I think your ROI is going to be pretty good.
That's true. Yeah. But
yeah, here's us talking about something. You see me walking in front of the camera a couple times.
Yeah.
I think this is when we were talking about the shape of it.
Yeah, trying to make it look more like a bridal dress.
Yeah, we were decided to make it look a little more like a dress. I think we were talking about something else.
Adding Coronas and stuff like that.
On adding stuff to the Corona.
Because we wanted to make sure that those looked like a sun.
It looks like a sun with a little. And now it's speaking of the sun.
Yeah,
we've time traveled.
Yeah. Fun fact: I actually don't do these all in one sitting. Weird how I take breaks in between pieces.
Yeah, right.
Though actually, that reminds me. While we were working on this piece, we were laughing and we talk about like card games a lot here because that's what we. Usually play.
There was a part where we were like, all right, you look at this art, what does it do as a card?
Yeah, you play this card from your hand, what does it do?
And it's funny because I immediately went to Magic the Gathering versus he went to Yu-Gi-Oh!
No, you went to Yu-Gi-Oh! I went to Magic the Gathering.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You did flip that around.
Yeah, because you said it was an Xyz
Because it looks like some sort of weird Xyz. It looks like a number.
Yeah, that's what I said. You said it looked like a number monster. And I thought if it was Yu-Gi-Oh! For me, I was like, oh, this is the ritual summon.
Yeah, it's definitely a good ritual summon, yeah.
Yeah, this is like the ritual spell card.
This is the spell card, yeah, definitely.
And then I believe John came in with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card too whenever we were talking about it, saying it was super broken. Because obviously, it's a one-card combo.
Obviously, it's a plant card, so it's super broken.
Right.
And for anyone not familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, plant
cards, broken.
Broken. Absolutely disgusting.
Broken.
There's so many banned plant cards.
Definitely gonna edit out all the coughing.
Oh, but you won't edit out all the ums. Fuck
you.
No.
Well, some of the coughing. I'll edit out. I'll edit more ums in.
Damn
I'll copy and paste them in. Here's when he does the chains. I like how he draws chains. He just kind of draws these little swirly lines.
Yeah, again, I don't... whenever I do art pieces, I feel like certain things you don't need to be, super realistic on. Because...
It's implied.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like you need to know every single detail in the pieces. Yeah. I'm a big fan of impressionism as opposed to... Realism in most ways, especially when it comes to fantastical things.
Yeah, definitely.
Realistically, you should be able to, and also I'm a cartoonist. Let's be real. I usually do more fanciful, not realistic things anyway.
It's more important to draw the sunflowers looking more real than it is to draw these chains looking real. Honestly.
Exactly, because they're not the focus.
Yeah.
Finding ways to figure out what your focus is always important whenever you're making a piece. That's also why these sunflowers are highly detailed, and the vines that are behind it are only semi-detailed comparatively.
Yeah, definitely.
Because you don't want to get lost in all of that detail. No. This is probably one of the more, what's the word I'm looking for? Spacious pieces, though, comparatively, if you think about it.
I would agree.
All the details in the down bottom corner,
Yeah, there's a lot of detail in the bottom third, and then the top part is just very, it's that menacing sun there.
Yeah. I do try also, whenever I do work, you can barely see it. There are a lot of lines in this drawing.
Yeah, you can see them at the beginning.
I usually do a grid nowadays to make sure that everything falls in under a good ratio.
Mm-hmm.
Most art is really good if you keep it in a ratio of thirds.
He's trying to be like the old masters.
I guess, yeah, that's probably true.
But no, it really does help, actually, I think.
Yeah, I feel like most of my
proportions your piece out better.
Yeah, it helps map everything out a lot better, too, especially if you're trying to do foreshortening or do weird perspectives. I feel having a little grid that divides your paper up into, thirds is
the
good.
more you start cheating, the better you've gotten. That's all I have to say. I mean, I don't even use reference or rulers or,
erasers, whiteout.
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, nothing.
No, it's more
just draw it all from memory. That's what you're supposed to do.
It's more authentic that way.
Yeah, that way you're a real artist. You know?
Jesus,
This is a
fucking
parody
Christ.
of some people we've heard.
I hate it so goddamn
Yeah,
much.
it's miserable. I think you keep looking back because we're watching anime openings. And we're,
Yeah.
like, trying to figure out what the opening is without looking.
That's true. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there's the
Yeah.
me looking back again. That's funny. But yeah, I do enjoy. Actually, that's one of my favorite things about whenever we do these pieces and stuff like that together when you're recording is that we put on sick music.
Oh, definitely. You gotta put something on.
Mm. I think backing away from the piece for a second, we do have some other stuff we need to talk about too, regards to our schedule for this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Because this, I don't know when this video is going to be posted, but this weekend is Anime North Texas, which we, found out about last.
I stumbled into
Yeah,
basically.
We
were just gonna show up with money and tell them we're taking a table.
But then they texted us and said,
Oh, we switched to digital.
nice.
Yeah, there's not really much of a transition. I'll probably add one in the final video.
That's fair.
A little bit of a shoo.
And this is me trying to figure out the color scheme for this one. This one was a little tough because I knew I wanted a yellow color palette for how very little I have yellow in my works. Most of them are usually red, blue, green. But I don't really ever do yellows and oranges. So I think it's just because I don't like orange as a color in general. But I feel like this piece was wanting to be in the yellow family because of the sun and because sunflower. Don't die on me there.
I will.
Yeah,
it's the sunflower, the sun,
All
things
that
like that. Very yellow,
But-
bright.
as I was saying, for our schedule stuff, we have quite a few other cons out of state this year, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
We're going to Chicago at the end of February. Then in the middle
Don't we go to Chicago twice?
Yeah, we get to go to Chicago
I need
twice.
to go to Chicago twice.
Yeah.
Very windy
Mhm.
schedule.
Futo.
Yeah, right. Now we're going there. We're going, Seattle?
Seattle in March.
Yeah.
Then April is when we go to Chicago again.
Again, yeah.
No.
No,
That's May when we
May.
go to Chicago.
Yeah.
April, we're waiting to hear back from Boston.
Yeah. I know we also got one in Tampa, right?
Yes,
When
that's
is
in
that
July.
one? Like July, yeah. Tampa in July.
Then we're going to Pennsylvania in October.
Mm-hmm.
All over the place. We're in
It's
really.
pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
we went
really-
from
One out of state con last year.
Yeah.
And what? All of ours so far that are planned are out besides this one?
Pretty much this one and Delta HCon and Anime Fest are the only ones that are still in state.
yeah, that are confirmed.
Yeah, confirmed at least.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cons that we have usually we go to San Japan, but this year we're also applying to Dragon Con,
Yeah, Dragon Con for sure.
as well as like Crunchyroll Expo, all of this other stuff.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens there. We're not guaranteed for San Japan either way, but this year's theme is horror. So if we don't get in, I might just submit a.
I would just submit for a contest anyway. Because
Yeah.
if you win, you
get
get
a
like
free
10 boosts or whatever,
Yeah,
like JoJo got.
That's true. And then it's also free too. So I mean, if you can become a finalist, you get a really huge discount on it too, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Like last year, I only paid like $50 for our table.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. But I highly recommend anybody who's an artist wants to visit
Yeah.
Japan. Definitely do the contest, especially if you're really into horror stuff. Part of me is like, hey, we should just submit this piece.
Oh, no, right? It's not anime enough.
No, it isn't.
Also, every time I look at this, I wonder if you need just a little bit of chain between that arm before we print this or not. Like, it's just like really small. I'm
Yeah, I
not
can
sure.
see that.
Yeah, I think maybe the final version will add like a touch of gray there or something.
Something. But
So.
yeah, this was the taxing part, was getting all of this vines colored.
Yeah.
I remember when I was coloring this, I was like, why did I do this to myself? Why did I
Yeah.
say yes to all these detailed,
It's funny, the part a little while ago where you were like coloring her skin since I'm like red-green color deficient. I'm
Yeah.
like, I only know he's coloring because that brush thing is on screen. It was very hard. I had to really like look at the video.
Yeah, it's also
Because
funny
of
is
the
I do
light
change
green.
that green skin later because I colored it and I was like, oh shit, this is just poison ivy. God damn it.
Yeah, it's fun to watch these change from the beginning to the ending.
Mm.
Especially this one goes through like a lot because you start at green and then you'll see towards the end it's not even green. you
No.
know?
I just chose green because I was like,
Yeah,
plants are green.
Yeah, plants are green. Like, of course we're gonna make the plants green.
Yeah.
You know, why wouldn't we? And then like, it's just funny how these pieces evolve while we're drawing them.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times you can barely.
cut out of the video a lot of the time, but some of them are still in there where we're talking about it and we're like, oh no, we should change all of this.
Yeah,
You
that does happen quite a bit.
Yeah, I feel like the better ones, that's how they end up.
Yeah.
We are just like talking the whole time about it, and then it'll have almost a different look sometimes even by the end of it. Or we'll just add stuff in because it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the best reason.
Yeah. Man, there's like I forgot like how much I had to do on this one. Gosh. I mean,
Yeah, it was a lot. Like when I was editing this, it took quite a while. But
I'm tired just looking at it. Jesus.
Yeah, but it's good because most of the video you were working, so all I did was pretty much like chop up a few parts, squish it together, and then zoom, like
Nice.
speed it up. Yeah.
Yeah, this part was where I was doing the hair, I believe. Yeah, here it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was funny because I was originally thinking, oh, I'll make this hair like kind of an orange color, since like redheads are usually associated with sun, and then I was like, oh look, I just drew poison ivy.
I remember that, yeah, because even I was like, well, why don't we make it green, And it's like, poison ivy exists. Oh, fuck, he's right.
Yeah, poison ivy exists.
He's right. Like, I like poison ivy, but we're not
Yeah.
making a poison ivy piece. And we don't want someone to look at this and go, oh, poison ivy.
Though, I feel like that's going to happen anyway.
Probably.
We're going to go take this to C2E2, and they're going to be like,
What
nice.
Poison ivy comic is this?
Yeah.
I haven't read this one yet.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Hey man, it'd be funny though. Someone from DC comes up and says,
Hey.
"We want you to draw a Poison Ivy comic now."
Yeah,
You never know.
Do the cover art for it.
Yeah, can we just use this for a Poison Ivy cover? I'm like, yeah, you got $50.
Yeah, right.
More than that, but
Yeah. Here's where you're editing the Corona out.
Yeah, there was a lot.
Change it later, yeah.
There was a lot for that. That was a little bit of a pill because this is also the sun was green here.
Oh yeah, we were gonna have the sun be green originally.
Yeah. Just because I wanted it to be like kind of like a poisonous color, an idea of invoking poison.
Yeah.
But it just didn't look right after we put all of the textures over top of it, so we made it a little bit more yellow.
Mm-hmm. A little more traditional. That way, you also know it's a sun.
Yeah, it's always a struggle trying to do fanciful things because you need to have at least some grounding in reality to make it work.
Yeah, you don't want...
Yeah, this is me opening up all of our little textures.
Yeah, I love keeping these in because it's cool to see them all, especially when you start going through them. Yeah,
How
do you make a sky? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
Right there.
I usually like making skies like this too. I also was really fixated on the idea of this one just because I was like, oh, it definitely looks kind of like heavenly away too. And also this kind of color palette, the addition. I also tried to add this in.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't, I wasn't feeling it. I was like, oh, this looks like blood. And so it's going to be like, evil.
Yeah. Yeah, I like leaving in all the stuff, even that you take out, because it's just kind of cool to go through the whole process.
At least I think I took this out. Yeah, I think I did take that out. Yeah, I did. No?
Maybe?
Yeah, I took it out. There it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure I took that out.
Yeah.
Because it just wasn't feeling it. Then I eventually add a gradient that adds the same effect of like the red. And stuff like that. Yeah, there's like the first the gradient. Is a bit more orange. Yeah, and added behind the suns.
The little coffee filter thing. You can see it pop up there for 2 seconds.
Yeah, that's one that was actually cool too. I actually really like this one because it added a brush texture to it.
Yeah, this is a neat one.
And then I took an eraser towards the top of it, so it blended the background a little bit in better.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing that to make sure that I could see everything. But yeah, no, this was I really enjoyed that texture. This is a texture I use all the time.
You use this all the time.
It's a good texture.
I just call it the swirls or the crystal texture because he used it on a crystal one time. That was like the first time I ever saw him use it.
Yeah. This is me figuring out what we're going to do there, and I think I ended up with an overlay texture on this one. Or overlay channel, sorry. Wrong word. Yeah, I think that's overlay. Hold on to this.
For the artsy on those.
Yes. And then this is the usual also go-to one I usually use a lot of.
Yeah, the tie-dye coffee filter.
Yeah, dude, this thing's really easy to do, actually.
Oh my god, it puts in miles of work. So much work.
I know. It's just funny. It's just how easy it is. It's basically you just get one of those old coffee filters, put Crayola washable markers on it, and just like drop water onto it.
Ah, okay. Hey, there's a tip for the kids at home.
Yeah, it's very easy. If I ever need to make another one, which I don't really ever feel the need to because it
Not
gets so
really.
much mild.
No, it already works so well.
Yeah.
That's like your number one thing.
And it's just like, man, look at all these textures I get from it. Yeah. Then this was the part where I was messing with the sun, trying to get the colors
first it was
just
going
right.
to be white, and I'm like, I think you should paint it like a darker yellow.
Yeah, it was fun. I knew I was going to make the eyes red.
Yeah, this big portion of it is white, and I'm like, I'm not feeling it. I think he colors more of it in, yeah.
Yeah. I used a little bit of that green again too for this one, so that's why some of the green's coming up in the overlay.
Yeah.
And then try to get a bit of a spherical texture by adding a little bit of white here and there. I also went in, so there's more of that green. But I think I go over.
You take it out. I know we cleaned the teeth up here.
We actually for this one I just changed the levels of it to make it a little lighter.
Yeah,
makes it a little easier.
I told him you wanted to make sure that people can tell it's a smile, like the texture of the sun ends, like the. So it gives it that really creepy look. There's some more stuff we got coming up with a paper bag. Can't go wrong with a paper bag.
Oh yeah, this was for the what is this? Is this
for the vines? I think. Yeah, the roots. The roots.
I think.
Yeah, it is. This is when you decided you wanted to make them look more dead.
Yeah, that's right. Because I couldn't remember if this leather I added to it was the vines or the flowers. I think the paper was the flowers and the vines was the leather.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
Actually, but the same thought came up about making it look more dead. Plus, if you're using a yellow, here we are. Because that's if you're using a yellow, browns are really good additions to those kinds of colors.
Definitely.
And then some of these buds I left green as well. I think there's a few more that are gonna. Yeah, here we go. But this was fun portion. Using textures and stuff has been a real help in some of the pieces that making them look more.
Yeah, you started doing it more often.
Yeah, ever since I took that little Photoshop class. I think learning how to add textures in digital painting has been really helpful.
Definitely. I would agree. It fits your style more, too.
Yeah, with more collage kind of style.
Yeah, the mixed media collage look.
Again, it's important to get this kind of stuff nailed down. Because you want to, see there.
Yeah,
textures. Textures all really help, too. Then you can also just, underneath them, change the layer style, and then add color underneath to get a really good feel for it. Because this is me now going underneath everything, just making sure we get the yellow for the sunflower. It's pretty simple. Yeah.
Look at that, pretty flowers.
And then add some brown.
It's a lovely look for such a
dead.
Describe this piece,
How does this piece make you feel?
Exactly.
And why is it depressed?
Chat, let us know how you feel about this one.
Yeah, all right.
No filter. Put all your words into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a dense piece. It's very emotional. I really like it.
Yeah, it's interesting how simple it is, but also at the same time how complex it feels compared to most of the pieces I do. Like that piece about isolation that I did with the coelegant and the girl drowning. A lot's going on in it, and it's a very interesting piece. But
I think you should have blown the girl up.
Yeah, again.
Yeah, but yeah.
It's things like that where even though I feel that simpler pieces can tend to give the more impactful message. As opposed to a real crazy, colorful, or whatever it was I was doing with that. To be fair, though, I do like that one. That was a good experiment in the idea of collage.
Good. Yeah, no, I think.
I think I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying they're polar opposites. So that's why they're comparable.
Oh, easily. It's so true.
But,
yeah.
This is I think the part now because now I got a good idea of how I want the color here to work. I think this is when I start adding the red. To make it so because I wanted that blood that's coming from the middle to kind of ooze its way into the
rest of the piece.
So you can
vines,
Also, it makes it so that it blends in a little better because that it's a very gray color, so you want things to kind of blend together, not be boring. And this is for the hair.
Yeah.
Texture wise, this was kind of fun too. Just messing around with it.
Yeah, like giving it shape is much better.
Plus, I'm not very good at this portion whenever it comes to doing real hair, because realistic hair is very difficult to do anyway. That's why, also, especially if look how cartoony this is comparatively. So, but it also just helps having some sort of base underneath it that you can just kind of mess with and then lighten up a bit so that it doesn't like fully look weird, but you want it to at least be semi.
Yeah, your hair has gotten better though, once you start adding more lines to it.
Yeah. But I don't recall how this ends up. I know I do a lot of erasing to have it blend in with the sun, because there's certain, like there we go. I feel like I changed the color of this a bit though.
I think you do. There's only about a minute left on the video or so.
Yeah, it's just funny. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't remember what I fucking did.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Oh, here we go. We got something else. Oh, this is for the Corona.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks just amazing.
Yeah, I think it's because I see now. I remember because I added this into the hair and I just erased it a little bit so that you can still see the hair.
Yeah, there we go.
And then I think that is the color I ended up keeping, but Yeah, because I'm doing a lot of, what is it?
It's like you're just
Gradients. Now I'm
Yeah.
probably about to go in,
doing some shading.
Yeah, and I made sure to move point to use the shadows to be the orange color to reflect the background a bit better. Usually green's opposite is a red, so you can grab a red, you can get it. But I think I started also adding in a bit of a gray, just again. And then afterwards, I think after this I went over top with a bunch of like a weird kind of green light over top of it, so that.
Oh yeah, I can see what you're talking about. I love the way the heart ended up looking.
Yeah, same. So yeah, here's me coming back and doing the lights. Yeah, because if you're gonna be doing this, you need to put light. Usually I just do a straight white, but this one was the first time I think I did just not a full flat white to give it a more painterly look as opposed to a more cartoony look.
Yeah, we got some more accents on like the hair and everything.
Yeah, and this is after this is when I started adding more red to the gradients behind it.
And then that's pretty much it though, because it's about to end, I think. Yeah. So that's the video. I really liked it. I like that piece a lot. So like seeing it at the end here, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Like it was not exactly when we started this. Like
there was a lot of effort.
It was
in this
like
one.
completely different.
We had
this piece has been on the block for like what, over a year?
Very much so, over a year.
More than over a year. Yeah. Originally we were thinking about having like the solar eclipses, like there was gonna be more of them, and they were gonna be strung along the bottom, and then there was also gonna be none of them, and then there was gonna be.
Then there was gonna be.
You can see the
dryad.
towards the
side.
Yeah, you can see the original design at the beginning.
Yeah,
it was completely different.
But yeah, definitely the idea was there throughout the entirety of the piece and making it. But yeah, I'm really glad with how we came to this conclusion here for this one. I think it's definitely a much more.
I think this is one of your best
solid
pieces, like, ever, for sure.
Yeah, and it's only January.
Yeah, right.
So let's hope that it didn't peak here in the beginning of the month of the year.
No, I don't think so. I think this is solid. This is a good start to the year.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for sitting here and listening to us rattle on. I guess we'll catch you somewhere.
Yeah.
We're hoping to make more videos and more commentary because I don't like having to go find a bunch of crappy copyright-free music. It's really boring to listen to for like 7 hours straight, I'll tell you that.
Tell me about it. But enjoy. We'll see you in the next one.
All right. Peace out, guys.